UFC 324, live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. The drought is over and the Paramount Plus era is upon us. And we have a pretty solid B-plus main card here to open up the year 2026 with definitely some solid matchups, some very even matchups, some very high stakes, and some fights that the UFC certainly has a favorite that they would prefer to advance in the tournament. Starting up top with the Lord John Silva against the perennial contender Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen, the solid everywhere English-speaking fighter, but certainly the UFC would prefer that the Lord is risen after he was felled by the spinning elbow by Diego Lopez, fighting style that transcends the language barrier, completely maniacal persona outside of the cage. But despite that, actually a very responsible defensive fighter, not really there to be hit, even with all of the explosive striking and the variety of attacks he likes to throw. He uses very good footwork and a lot of head movement to avoid the strikes coming back. And Arnold Allen, I think, will just be one step behind, a little bit too slow, a little bit too predictable, a little bit too white. And Silva's just going to be one step ahead. He's going to showcase the explosive striking. He's gonna be able to slam the right body kick, the straight right two down the middle. If Arnold Allen gets too carried away leaning over the front foot, he has the counter right knee, and he really likes to drop Silva. He really likes to drop that counter check left hook over the lead right shoulder of the southpaw fighter, like he busted up Drew Dober with all night in their fight. And I see him controlling the distance, hitting when he wants to hit, possibly wobbling Allen in the first and maybe getting a stoppage sometime late in the first or early in the second round. But because of the size and durability of Arnold Allen, he's had 6 months off. He cuts down from 190. He's already got a great chin. I think he's going to survive to the end. He's not the type of guy who has the cardio to necessarily stop a guy late like Silva after absorbing the damage. He could pull back around on the judges' cards, but I don't think he's going to have enough to stop Silva late. And I see Silva being one step ahead early and getting at least 2 rounds up, if not stopping Allen sometime in the second round. I like Silva to win if you're looking for a method of victory by decision at plus 175, but definitely Gene Silva to win at minus 300. First lock of the card, and pretty high stakes to start off the main card with both guys looking to slot into that number one contender type of position, or at least a fight for number one contender to set up new blood for Volkanovski at the top of the division. Moving up the card, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Easily the best bet on the entire card. Easy money for Suga Sean. Sean O'Malley minus 210, plus 100 for the decision. He's going to be sniping Yadong all day long. He's going to do whatever he wants from the outside. Yadong does not cut off the cage well. He shells up into a traditional Muay Thai shell. You go, I go, you go, I go. And O'Malley is never going to let him get a rhythm to land his own shots. He's going to be throwing 1-1-2, 1-1-2, look away 2, teep kick up the middle, and he's going to be breaking the rhythm and circling away. Yadong does not cut off the cage. It's going to be a slightly tighter, slightly less explosive version of Suga Sean versus Marlon Vera. Easy decision, and Sean doesn't even have to look for spots to pace himself and allow Yadong to get any offense off because it's only a 3-round fight as the co-main event was canceled, and now O'Malley is slotted in here all of a sudden with an opportunity to become one of, if not the biggest star in the UFC all over again, with Petr Yan sitting there waiting with the title after Merab dared to be great, flew too close to the sun, got melted, and now Yan wants nothing more than to avenge what he thinks was a win, what a lot of people think was a win in the first fight with O'Malley, and that sets up USA versus Russia at the White House, one of the biggest fights the UFC can make, and O'Malley right back on top as one of the biggest stars in the organization. And he's set up with a perfect stylistic matchup against a guy here in Song Yadong who's gonna be one step behind, 2 steps behind in the striking all day. He's not gonna cut off the cage, and he's not gonna be able to hold O'Malley down no matter how many times you roll around with Uriah Faber. He's not built to do that right now, and O'Malley's been training Merab, so he's prepared to fight the guy off and snipe him for 15 minutes. This is minus 210. Sean O'Malley, cash all your Christmas checks, trade all your Pokemon cards, all in on this one. Minus 210. Bet the house. Lastly, the main event of the evening. Justin Gaethje is washed. We don't want to say it. We don't want to believe it. We don't want to. We definitely don't want to see it. But we have to accept the reality that he's getting slower every fight. The explosion isn't there. The left hook isn't. He's not jumping into the left hook like he used to. The calf kicks aren't hitting like they used to. He's starting to move like Diego Sanchez out there, like he can't even do squats when he trains anymore. The thighs and the mobility and the explosiveness is all gone. Meanwhile, Paddy growing into one of the bigger, stronger 155ers on the roster. And when it comes to high stakes, no bigger stakes for the UFC than this fight right here, where they have no future for Justin Gaethje, another placeholder fight maybe to unify the belts with Ilya. But on the other side, with Paddy should get by Gaethje, you can set up probably the biggest fight possible in the organization right now, barring a comeback from Conor or Ronda or Brock or something. Paddy Pimblett versus Ilya Topuria this summer to unify the 155 is probably the biggest fight that the organization can do. So Dana's got all his chips in the middle on this one, and we know that this is a perfect stylistic matchup for Paddy. He's not going to beat Arman at the top. He's likely not going to beat Ilya, but Gaethje is the one he can beat. 37 years old now, looking a little more washed in every fight. He could always catch him with the left hook fading out like he did James Vick, but Gaethje just hasn't looked to have that in him the last couple years. Even Fiziev was able to get Gaethje into a couple of bad positions, had him in a mounted triangle in the first round in their last fight, a position I don't think he's getting out of against Paddy. And Fiziev was even dominating the striking in that through a round and a half of their rematch until he gassed halfway through the second because he was in there on short notice, and then Gaethje caught him with that huge uppercut with about a minute left in the second round and cruised to a decision. But up until that fight, Fiziev was in pretty good control and even had Gaethje in a couple bad positions on the ground, positions he is not getting out of against Paddy. Paddy to physically manhandle Gaethje, get a submission sometime in the third or fourth, but definitely to win at minus 235, another lock. And if you're looking for a live dog on this card, of course, you don't have to look any farther than the Black Beast. When it gets time for that swanging and banging, I don't think there's any man on earth who could stand up to Derek Lewis, who's 50-50 in a gunfight. And certainly, if you can get this extra juice with Lewis by KO at 325, he's not hanging around for a decision or trying to armbar the guy. So Derek Lewis at plus 325 in a 50-50 gunfight, that's definitely our live dog on this one. And looking at the full parlay, Paddy, O'Malley, John Silva, plus 180, all to win. And the full card parlay with Paddy, Suga, Black Beast, Natalia Silva over Old Lady Rose, who looks, again, even more washed than Gaethje, even before the pantsuit at the press conference. That looks like easy money. And then John Silva plus 1147 for all five on the main card. But really liking the Paddy, Suga, John at plus 180, O'Malley at minus 210. That's the big one. All in on that one. Best bet on the card. One more sleep. Good luck, us. Come join me for the fights.